Welcome everyone to X-Plane 11. We are in VR in the Oculus Rift S and we are touring the French Alps at the moment, and I'm going to just land at a airfield called Méribel, which is a stone's throw away from Courchevel, and it's every bit as stunning and as challenging as you're going to see here. We're in the Hot Start TBM, which is the last word really in general aviation aircraft. It's the best aircraft you can buy for any sim right now. I say right now, it's been like that for years, to be honest. It's superb. But yeah, here we go. This is going to be quite a ride, guys, so I'd recommend putting your seatbelts on and praying to the aviation gods that we make it. No promises. In fact, it's really hard to even spot where the airfield is because it's nestled into some trees. I can just see it there. Oh my goodness me, look at that. It's such a challenge to land at. In fact, I've lost it again. Where is it? There it is. It's just poking through the tree line there. Can you see? In fact, I think this is more challenging than Courchevel, which is just over there. So here we go. Concentration levels are through the roof here. But it really is an exhilarating experience in VR, particularly because you can really sense and feel the height of your surroundings. It's incredible. Okay, we're getting a bit of turbulence as expected from those trees. We're right on the stall here. Bit of trim. Oh my goodness me, this is insane. I can't believe people do this in real life. And there we go. Hopefully gravity will help here as we go up the slope. And oh my god, that is fantastic. So there we go. That is Orbex Méribel. And I'll tell you what, I'll just park here for a moment and we'll have a bit of an explore round. So, as I say, welcome to Méribel Airfield, and it's the typical Orbex detail everywhere. It's beautifully modelled. There's just little things everywhere like golf carts and hotels and signs and people. It's just a wonderful place, and you can almost smell those pine trees, and I bet it's freezing up here in the winter. So if you're up for a bit of skiing, guys, this is the place to be. Personally myself, I'm not much of a skier. Look at that. We've got the information there. And if we go down here, got a massive Winnebago there. We've even got the actual ski, sort of, what you call it, the ski ramp. And the cable car that goes right up there. Oh, it's just really, really cool. In fact, actually, if we go up here a little bit. Wow, look how fit I am going up this hill. I'm not even out of breath. That's amazing. And just look back, you can see that the airfield looks spectacular there. Really, really nice place. So I'd recommend, I'll put a link in the description below. But what we're going to do now, we're going to get back into the aircraft and we're going to head to Innsbruck, which is my all-time favourite airfield, with a close second being Edinburgh, which you've probably seen on the channel recently. Anyway, we'll get back on into the aircraft, get the parking brake off, and now we're going to take off, which is equally as exhilarating, trust me, in VR. It's amazing. My favourite word, I know, but you know, it really is. So let's get lined up. We're going to need full flaps for this. Make sure our trim is set. Remember, this is a study level aircraft, so if you do things wrong, you're going to pay. And even though the TBM is a superb short field takeoff and landing aircraft, well, not quite STOL capability, but it is very good at getting into those small strips, it's a bit of a struggle with this one. So we've got full power here, full flaps, let gravity take over, and we're going to go down this slope here, building speed really, really fast, 70 knots, kicking in some rudder. Come on, and we've just got enough. And if we look to our left now, oh my god, that looks like, you really feel the vertigo actually. I feel like, wow, looking down there that I'm really high up.
Landing gear.
Right, we're going to get Bitchin' Betty's going to moan at us now as we're just going to get cleaned up.
Landing gear.
and head on our course.
Landing gear.
Whoops, wrong view there. There we go. Look at that. That is spectacular. Wow. Now, one thing I don't like about the Orbex Courchevel scenery is that they've, for whatever reason, they've obviously run into some mesh issues. They've kept the default X-plane scenery instead of the ortho scenery. And that's the only way that they can do it so that the mesh looks correct. So believe it or not, this area here is actually default X-plane. It looks pretty good actually. But what that does mean is that you can enjoy Courchevel the way it's meant to. So I guess that's just a limitation of X-plane that they've had to deal with. So Courchevel is actually, where is it? It's around here somewhere. There it is. You can see it there. So we'll just go around. I'll tell you what guys, this kind of flying in VR is what it's all about. It really is. And in the Oculus Rift S, you can set your OVR tool to lock at 27 frames per second, and it never budges, and it's beautifully smooth. And in the latest Vulkan release, it's not bad. You still get stutters, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Right, we'll go outside as we fly overhead Courchevel en route to Innsbruck. So there you are, that is Courchevel in all of its glory. We're now going to take our inertial separator off because we're going to need plenty of power to get above all of these beautiful Alps en route to Innsbruck. Currently an hour and 20 minutes away, but hopefully once we get to a decent cruise altitude, it should be about 45 to 50 minutes away. Which gives us a great chance to talk about VR. Now recently, I put up a vote on my community tab about the new HP Reverb Omnicept, and thank you so much to everyone who voted. At the time of this recording, it was about a day ago, and I already had 145 people vote, which is fantastic. And I'll put the latest results in the corner now. And as you can see, it's pretty unanimous for the HP Reverb G2. Now, what I wanted to know really about this vote is, now that the Omnicept has been announced and you can see it's going to have foveated rendering and eye tracking, I wondered whether that changed people's views and perceptions on the G2, because I know many of you have pre-ordered it, and at the moment we don't really know how much the Omnicept is going to be. Now I imagine it's going to be a fair whack of money, but how much we don't know. If it's going to be around £1,000 or 1,500, is it really worth getting the G2 when perhaps you could sell your old Reverb or Rift S and put that towards the Omnicept edition, which I do feel is jam-packed full of next generation technology? Because I've always said that the Rift S and the G1, which is the two headsets I own, complement each other really well. Look at that mountain there. That is gorgeous. That is just insane. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you feel about this situation. But in terms of headsets this year for PC VR, the only real headset out there in contention is the Reverb G2. Now I also threw a bit of a wild card in there and mentioned the Quest 2, which is now been released and it's very cheap. It's quite a compelling VR headset, although it's a standalone first, and you have to buy a link cable for it to work on your computer. Now that costs about $80–90, so you need to factor that into the cost of the Quest 2, and bear in mind there's going to be a fair bit of compression, because I believe it's a USB cable. I might be wrong, but I think it's a USB cable, which means that the quality of the image is not going to be as good as even a Rift S, which is a known fact, guys. There's been a few tests now on YouTube's of people testing the Rift S and the Quest 2 on PC, and the Rift S does actually come out top in terms of just the sheer quality of the image, simply because of that link cable. It's not really designed as a PC VR headset first, which is a bit of a problem. Then when you factor in it's not very comfortable, you need the deluxe head strap. That's another $50-60 on top of that. It starts to get a bit close to the Reverb G2's money. So unless you're really into standalone VR and you're going to use it for those games, I really can't recommend you getting a Quest 2 over the Reverb G2. That's my opinion. And look at that, that's the ortho, where basically the Orbex area finishes and then my own ortho begins. And this is all freeware that I downloaded ages ago, and yeah, it still looks stunning. Looks really nice, especially in VR. Right, we'll put the autopilot on now. Nav mode. And take a look outside for a moment. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, do you know what? If X-Plane had a fully 3D volumetric dynamic weather engine, try saying that after 6 pints, it wouldn't be that far off to the Microsoft Flight Sim, really. Perhaps if you had some add-ons anyway. But yeah, in a nutshell, really, if you remember last year, we had a whole load of new PC VR headsets, including the Rift S, the Valve Index, HTC Cosmos, and the Reverb G1. This year we've only really got one VR headset announced and released for PC, and that is the G2. So it's quite an easy upgrade for many of you out there, particularly from the CV1, the Rift S. If you actually have waited, like I know a number of people on the VR Aviator group that I'm part of, which I recommend, if you haven't already, checking out the VR Aviator Facebook group. Fantastic bunch of people. There's a number of people on there that have still got a CV1, and I think for those guys the G2 is going to be a substantial upgrade path, even for people with a Rift S. But I don't know, for people with a G1, can't really say for certain. You're going to get better audio, you're going to get slightly better controllers, but to be honest, the battery life is still going to be the same, which is actually a bit of a shame, that the Windows Mixer LT batteries are still going to need 2 high-powered rechargeables, and they only last about 8 to 9 hours if you're lucky. They are going to have more of a Rift S style design, so it's going to be nicer to use, but the battery life will still be the same. So really it's about that audio and that lens design for that larger sweet spot. Apart from that, it's going to be pretty much the same as the G1, although I'd imagine that that display is going to look a lot better. So that depends how important it is to you to have that extra bit of clarity. For me, I'm really happy with the G1 for now, so I'm going to keep with it and just see how the Omnicept edition plays out, because I really would love a headset with that fancy eye tracking and favoriated rendering. Once sims like the Microsoft Flight Sim and maybe even X-Plane get a hold of that, that will negate the need for a really powerful GPU. Now, a lot of enthusiast VR people out there are quite happy to buy the Pimax 8KX, which I think, does that have favoriated rendering? And that's going to be about 2,000 quid. So if the Omnicept is, say, between 1,000 and 1,500, it's not a bad deal, really. I know it's a lot of money, guys, but hey, PC VR has never been a cheap alternative. But what you get is what we're doing right now, an absolutely amazing experience. I'm flying right now over the Alps in VR. Even in the Rift S, it feels fantastic. It really does. It feels incredible. Just look at the scenery here. Now, before too long, we're going to be heading into the Orbex Innsbruck area, and then the scenery will get even more dramatic. But for now, we're just going to sit in the back and enjoy the views, because it really is spectacular. This is one of my most favourite European flights, to go from Courchevel to Innsbruck. Highly recommend it, guys, especially if you have your own ortho. So yeah, let me know, guys. Are you keeping your Rift S or your G1? Are you going to keep your pre-order of the G2? There's a lot of options out there, which is still great for us PC VR users, but I must say I do think that we're on a little bit of trouble, particularly with Oculus's Move. And this whole Facebook login thing, well, no, count me out of that. I am not happy about selling my data to them, and if I say something they don't agree with, be completely removed from the platform. That's not really what I signed up for in the beginning. And it's probably one of the reasons why the Quest 2 is so cheap, because they're going to be gathering data for future marketing research opportunities, and I'm just not happy about that. I think I've got about 2 years before I'm forced to have a Facebook login. That was a flash then, I've no idea what that was. So I think that means that I probably will be getting rid of my Rift at some point within the next year, which is a real shame, because I do love this headset. Do you know, as I'm just sat here looking out at that amazing terrain, just time just stands still for me. I'm just so relaxed. And VR just has that ability to be able to take you away from all the life stresses and strains and just put you in a place where you can just think. Much like other hobbies, I think that's what hobbies are all about, really, aren't they? Just escapism of real life problems and issues. And there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, but it's just so nice to be able to kick back in your favourite aircraft, favourite scenery and add-ons, and just relax, really. And that's what it's all about, really, engaging in that passion that is aviation. Now, I haven't really done much real-world flying for a long time now, because my friend who I go flying with, unfortunately, he lost his job because of the COVID situation. So, you know, my thoughts are with him at the moment, and he's having to change careers at the moment, whether it's brief or maybe it's long term. I really hope not, but it's pretty dire. So thank goodness we have VR, and he's using VR as well, to be able to indulge and really connect with our interests and passion. Because if we haven't got that, then I think you know, we would struggle. But this scenery around here, oh, it's really making me miss Europe. Cannot wait to get back here next summer, fingers crossed. But this scenery is just spectacular. Hope you're enjoying this flight as much as I am, guys. X-Plane 11 and VR is really here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and it's every bit as impressive as it was 6 months ago, or even 2 months ago, before the Microsoft Flight Simulator descended upon us. Don't get me wrong, I really do feel that's going to be my main sim once VR gets here, as long as it's done right. But X-Plane will always have a place on my hard drive. I just love this sim too much to uninstall it. Especially when you get views like that. Oh my word, look at that. That really takes your breath away. Oh, amazing, brilliant, love it. Yeah, I can quite happily sit here for hours and hours just enjoying that scenery. aboard my own personal TBM. Not a bad way to spend an afternoon. Anyway guys, I shall see you on approach into Innsbruck. So we have a visual now on Innsbruck, skimming these mountains. You really feel the speed as you go past. Do you know, if you buy one aircraft for X-Plane, it's got to be the Hot Start TBM. It's a masterpiece. And rest assured guys, I didn't get given this aircraft, I bought it with my own hard-earned money, just like you guys. And I have literally hundreds of hours in it now. So there it is, there's Innsbruck. And we'll make a bit of a downwind leg here. Put the inertial separator on now. Landing light is on. All is well in the TBM. We're fairly light now, which is good. And check out all those points of interest, which there are many in this region. I've got a full review of this airfield if you're interested, on the channel somewhere. But yeah, needless to say, this is the best of the best in terms of the Orbex, because they've got hundreds of airports now. If you're wondering which one gives you the best bang for your buck, it's this one. We're now on short finals. Little high, but we've got plenty of runway here. Bring her down nice and slow. Such a joy to fly this thing. And there we are. Welcome to Innsbruck, and in fact this is the default demo area of Innsbruck. This is not Orbex, and that brings an important point actually. If you do buy this airport and you update your X-Plane for whatever reason, some weird something going on over there as well. Oh dear. That is because every time you basically update X-Plane, it will reinstall this demo area, which is annoying, and I wish Orbex would address that by putting some sort of exclusion in. Oh, a little bit off the runway there, taxiway. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave this video here. I really do appreciate your support on the channel. It's all good chatting about VR and all the flight sims that we have now. We are completely spoiled for choice, to tell you that. Take care, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye for now. Where are we going to park?